um, Crest Electronic Products manufactures components used in the automotive industry. Crest purchases parts for use in its manufacturing operation from a variety of different suppliers. One particular supplier provides a part where the assumptions of the EOQ model are realistic. Remember that some of those sections, even though we don't have constant uh, demand, or we don't assume constant rate. We use formulas, or we assume the model used are pretty much realistic or close to the reality. The annual demand is 5,000 units. The ordering cost is $80 per order, and the annual holding cost rate is 25%. And right here, you also see if the cost of the part is 20 per unity, and assume 250 days of operation per year. So you have actually got all the information you need. So let's start plugging in the annual demand, or your capital D right here. It's 5,000. So 5,000 for both. Okay. The ordering cost is $80 per order. So my ordering cost, capital C subscript O, $80 for both. The annual holding cost rate is 25%, but your annual holding cost rate, or I, the interest, to have your holding cost, you need to multiply that by the cost of the unity. Remember? Okay, so right here. So we're gonna do the 25% is your I, and the 20 is the C. So we're gonna do equals to 25% times my $20, which is $5. And then the same thing over here. I just copy and paste, Control C, Control V. Here, the daily demand, the which you could call the daily demand or your small d, it's gonna be the total amount of units divided by your working days, 250, correct? So right here, for both actually, it's gonna be 5,000 divided by 250. You're gonna have 20. Same thing here, so just copy, Control C, Control V. There. Here is where it's gonna change. My lead time for part B is gonna be 12 days. If the lead time for an order is 12 days, so here my lead time is 12. But then on this part C, which I'm gonna put C and B, so you know why I put, okay. Part C, if the lead time for the part is 7 weeks or 35 days, that's where it changes. Okay, your reorder time, it's gonna be your daily demand times your lead time. So it's gonna change because you're gonna multiply your daily by the lead time, your daily by the lead time. So you're gonna have different amounts. So 20 times 12, and right here you're gonna have 20 times 35. So your reorder point using a lead time of 12 would be 240, but your reorder point uh, right here is 700 using a lead time of 35 days. And that's when the part D is gonna, and right here it tells you, explain the relative size of the two quantities. Hint, remember that the reorder point is expressed in terms of inventory position. Therefore, I added something here. What they mean by inventory position is they consider the inventory they have in hand, or on hand or in the warehouse, plus what's in on order or on the way, or your economic order quantity or your quantity. So your inventory on hand plus what is on the way. So on part D is gonna ask you, um, what is the reorder point for part C if the reorder point is expressed in terms of inventory on hand, which means they want to know this part only. So let's go ahead and calculate A, B, and C so I can expand a little more on part D. Your cycle time right here, it's gonna be this formula over here. So it's gonna be your 250 working days times, oh, I need to calculate my EOQ first. Sorry about that. So good, let's go ahead and do it together. So part AS, if the cost of the part is $20 per unity, what is the EOQ? So now we're going to be using this formula over here. So I'm going to do equals to the square root of 2, that number doesn't change, times my annual demand, which is 5,000, times my ordering cost, which is 80, divided by my holding cost, which is 5. And then that noise is because sometimes I might add an extra parenthesis or delete or miss a parenthesis. So Excel is telling me, hey, you're missing or you have one extra, so I'm gonna adjust it. Okay, so we got that our EOQ, or the most optimal, is to order when we reach right here. Actually, the order quantity, the optimal is 400 units. That's how much we should order. So right here, what's on order? So this part here is 400. Okay. So assume 250 days of operation per year, working days. If the lead time for an order is 12 days, what is the reorder point? We already did it here, so I'm gonna do is equals to my reorder point. Or you know what? Let me remind you, which is gonna be your daily demand times your lead time, which is 12 days, so 240. If the lead time uh, for the part is 7 weeks or 35 days, what is the reorder point? Well, the reorder point then is gonna be daily demand times 35 is 700. Okay, so like now you can see when they say, remember that the reorder point is expressed in terms of inventory position. That means what you have on hand plus on the way. Okay, so and it says, what is the reorder point for part C, the 700, if the reorder point is expressed in terms of inventory on hand, just this portion here, rather than the inventory position, both of them? Well, if you know that the inventory position right here is 700, right? Or actually, yeah, we can do that. It's going to be 700, and then you're gonna do minus what is on order, what is on the way. That's what you're gonna be ordering, correct? So your inventory on hand will be 300, which is different than these numbers, because these numbers, they do consider what is in the warehouse plus what is on the way, and here is only talking about uh, what is on hand. So right here, what does this number mean? Well, since the reorder point is 700, right? In my EOQ, my quantity to order is 400. One order is going to be outstanding when the reorder point is reached. So that means the inventory on hand at the time of the order will be 700 minus my what is on the way, which is 300. So if there was any other way to interpret, to make an interpretation of this value is, maybe the person who is responsible for the orders, they should click that when their inventory on hand instead of the full order gets to 300, that's the time to reorder. Okay, so that's what it means. It does not ask you for the total cost or the cycle time. You could go ahead and do it if you want to know the cycle time. 250, this formula right here, times my EOQ, my 400, divided by my annual, which is going to be my cycle time 20 days. Also do your total cost. You are not, so the most important thing here on this problem is to understand that when you hear the inventory position, they are referring to what is on hand in the warehouse plus what is on the way. So 300 plus 400. So they're counting 300 they have in the warehouse plus they are counting the 400 that is on the way, which is 700. Okay, and the inventory, so it would be different. The inventory position is composed of two parts, and that would be problem 9, and you would be done with the homework for week 3.